What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the Canadian Football Fanatics YouTube channel. And thank you guys for tuning in to another video. BCFC season preview number 4 coming at you guys today as we take a trip, up to the Valley and get a preview of the Valley Huskers season as they head into their 2025 campaign. And as we have been in our past 3 season previews, and as we will continue to be joined by the head coaches of each program. We're going to be joined by head coach Bob Reese in a little bit here to chat about his team and how excited he is going into this season. So, of course, folks, if you guys have been enjoying, like the video, go back and check out the rest of the season previews on the channel. Comment down below. Let us know how you guys are feeling, how excited you guys are for the BCFC season as well. And, of course, subscribing to the channel. When you guys subscribe, press the notification bell. You guys get notified every single time we go live or upload a video to the channel. And, of course, you guys can follow us on our social media platforms at Canadian Football Fanatics on Instagram and at _CF Fanatics on Twitter as well. So as we continue to breeze our way through these season previews, and continue to get closer and closer to kickoff for these teams, as it is today, the 8th, is it? The 7th? The 8th today. Teams kicking off in just over, what is it? The 19th, I believe. 11 days time. A little under 2 weeks. 2 Saturdays from now, we will be playing BCFC football. It'll be very nice to have all teams back in the conference playing, and be paying attention to the great parity that I know multiple coaches have already talked about. In specific, Coach Travis Miller talked about the parity in the BCFC and how multiple games he kind of relied on and thought were great, maybe learning lessons for their team, and were able to use in the playoffs in some of their bigger victories last year. But the parity that comes within the conference, I think, is a great benefit to the product on the field and attracting fans, and why I try to urge as many of our listeners and fans to get out to all the local parks out there. 7 communities, 7 programs to get behind and cheer on this season. So before we get into today's season preview with Coach Reese, which he will be joining us here in a matter of moments, of course, we got to remind you guys give you guys a quick few reminders, of course. I'm going to try to get these out to you guys pretty quickly. If we can, we're going to try to get this out to you guys tonight. A pretty late upload in terms of some of our normal ones, but I'm going to try to get this, as I mentioned, out quickly as possible to you guys so that you guys can have these previews for game week next week, because we have some fun, interesting stuff planned, which brings me to transitioning to our next point, which is our partnership with the BCFC this season. As I mentioned to you guys already, if you guys have been enjoying all these season previews, make sure that you guys are tagging the BCFC on social media, letting them know how excited you guys are, as well as tagging them and commenting on some of our posts what you guys would like to see this upcoming season. As I mentioned and kind of teased already, we're hoping and leaning towards something like a weekly show, still ironing out the details, whether or not we are going to be on our channel or the BCFC's. But as I mentioned, excited for our partnership collaboration with the BCFC season, the BCFC this season, so that we can bring you guys the best content and, most importantly, give a much needed spotlight to these athletes that are going to be playing at a high level this season. So when talking about some of our partnership and collaboration, that's what kind of sparked the season preview idea, as well as our second annual BCFC Power Rankings as voted on by the coaches. So we did this last year where we had a coach represent each of the 7 teams throughout the conference. Basically submit a 1 through 7, how they thought the kind of the conference shook up, and we put it into one big list. Going to do the same thing this year. Going to release it next week for game week to get, as I mentioned, all the conversation going and hopefully some excitement building for the season. So look forward to that as we wrap up our season previews. That'll be the next kind of content piece that comes out. And then as well, as I mentioned with the weekly show, look forward to that when it comes out. As I said before, you guys can follow us on our social media platforms to get the best updates, as well as maybe the BCFC will have one as well. So when transitioning back into our season previews, it's been a good first 3 season previews with Coach Rabsky, Miller, and Coach Brian down in Langford. And as I mentioned, we're going to be joined by Coach Reist here tonight to preview Valley season, and then we will continue our way around the BCFC. As tonight we'll check off team number 4 and make our way to the other 3 programs to preview their season. As I said, going to try to get these out and turn them around to you guys as quickly as possible. So, hopefully we're able to get this to you guys tonight, the 8th. If not, it'll be up on the 9th of July. And, the 9th of July tomorrow, 10 days out from the kickoff of the BCFC season. So I think that is all. We've crossed our T's, dotted our I's, folks. Let's bring in the man right now. 2018 Coach of the Year and head coach of the Valley Huskers, Bob Reese. Coach, thanks for joining us. How are we doing?
Hey, we're doing great. Thanks for having me. Excited.
Awesome, Coach. With all the excitement, I know you guys have been on the field to kick off what I know teams are kind of calling main camp and stuff like that after a long offseason. Coach, how has it been to get on the field and be able to see your team in person and kind of start to move and tweak the chess pieces a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a great start to camp. We've been at it for a couple weeks now here in the main camp. Kind of a bit of a soft start with a lot of the out of town high school kids still finishing up, their education and prom and all of that. But most of the guys are in camp now and we're fully running. And we didn't have that long of a gap from spring camp to main camp, but obviously enough time to kind of assess where we were at and bring in some more pieces. And we've added a couple guys since spring camp, so we're excited. We're excited with where we're at as a group right now. Still a bit of obviously some things to work out and get ready for the season, but for where we are today, we're excited.
Yeah, Coach, as I was saying there, 2018 Coach of the Year. And when looking at this and preparing for all of the rest of our season previews, Coach, I believe that you're the longest tenured head coach in the BCFC, entering now your 8th season as head coach there in the Valley. How much, I guess, maybe fun has it been, as well as I'm sure time has been flying, Coach. As you know, I kind of actually played for the Vancouver Island Raiders back in 2017, so I remember your time coming in and stuff like that, and how the 8 seasons, I'm sure, has flown by for yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that's a sign of getting older or not, but yeah, time is certainly flowing by. I mean, each year is a new year, and this one certainly, we have some high expectations for, So, but yeah, absolutely. I mean, time flies. The league changes, over the course of things. A lot of new faces, and can't wait for yet another year.
Yeah, Coach, when talking about the league and stuff like that, a lot of new faces, you brought a tremendous amount of stability. As I mentioned with, my experience playing against your Huskers in 2017 when you came, you've been able to turn around not only the program, but I think the culture, the narrative around the program as well. When talking about pride and stuff like that, how much pride does that bring you of now that when teams kind of see the Huskers on their schedule, they know that they're going to have to strap up their pads, play a tough competitive game, and on a week to week basis, the Huskers could be winning a lot of games, and you guys have proven on the field not only with your record and stuff like that, but how much pride, Coach, have you kind of taken that of and obviously, Coach, I know the beautiful team sport that is football. It's not a one man job, and there's a lot of taken on behind the scenes and stuff like that. But how much pride do you take within that, Coach?
I mean, certainly there's a tremendous amount of pride that goes into this program. I think that's built into the culture of who we are. We are proud of where we are, but also we're proud of where we've come from. You mentioned 8 years. It's we didn't. I say we because some of the coaches that I've had have been here with me the whole time, and we didn't take over a program, that had a reputation of winning at that point, and so changing culture obviously was step one. You can't build a championship, you can't become a champion team without a winning culture, without a attitude that goes with it. So that was step one, and certainly over the years, that culture has certainly developed through a lot of hard work. It's not something that we, just kind of hope happens. It's something that we work on, and establishing culture. And the guys that have come through this program over the last number of years certainly played a large role in that. And so, yeah, absolutely. There is tremendous pride in where we started from as a group, and certainly where we are as a team that we feel can contend, in our conference, and obviously at a national level. So to get to that point, it's a lot of hard work, and it's staying the course, and it's believing in the culture. And I think the program has done a great job of that, not just coaching staff, but from the executive to the players to the buy-in. It's a big picture, and it's come a long way, and obviously there's still ways to go. We're not where we're not content with where we're at. We're certainly, setting our heights high and looking to achieve that this year.
Yeah, Coach, I believe when you took over for the Huskers, you were coming from the University of Manitoba and coaching there. When you talk about reputation and now with U Sports coaches kind of knowing the reputation of the Valley Huskers program, knowing that they can find some quality talent there to go that route. I believe you guys had this offseason about 7 or 8 players from your last year's team commit to the U Sports realm. What does that say to the program? As I mentioned, the reputation of U Sports coaches. I'm sure hitting up your phone in the offseason, wondering about, this player and that player and would he be a good fit here? And as I mentioned, just how much of a positive is that for the program? Obviously, it's sometimes a bummer when you have to lose some key pieces and stuff like that, but it is at the end of the day a very good positive for the program.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, this losing guys to U Sport, I don't look at it as a negative. We're going to recruit every year. We expect to lose guys. We develop guys to play at U Sports. That's something that we pride ourselves on. I think we're over double digits now. We got a couple kids with NCAA offers. We've pumped out a lot of guys to use sports over the last few years, and we do that with the expectation of continuing to recruit and to fill the roster and have a next man up mentality, because we do take a lot of pride in getting guys not only to use sports but prepared for when they get there. Our guys aren't going there to be redshirt players; they're going there to be impactful players. And that's because of what we do in the program and how we develop guys. So yeah, and I mean, guys when they come into the program, that's what they're looking for, and then certainly as a program, it's about what we can do for the athletes. Of course, we're here to win championships. We're here to compete and to do all those things, but we're also here to develop our athletes. This is not the end of the road for athletes. They have higher levels to get to, and if we're not preparing them for U Sports and how they handle film and how they handle practice, then we're doing our players a disservice. So that's something that we talk about when we recruit guys. Look at what we've done. We have put, I think it's like 50 guys over the last 6 years or something like that into U Sports. Guys going NCAA. Like, this is a stepping stone in your career, and we are here to help you get there and help you get to the next level. And in doing that, we're going to get players that are here to compete, that are prepared and have high expectations and help us become a championship football team.
Coach, as I said again, when I know you took over, you wanted to hit the ground running in the recruiting aspect and really get in, some of those Husker DNA type players that you were looking for and stuff like that. Coming off the recruiting season now, and as I mentioned, all off season, you're kind of waiting to get guys into town that maybe can't because maybe they're coming from Eastern Canada and it's kind of expensive to come for the spring camp, main camp type thing. So you get them into camp now and you're excited to see them maybe within your scheme and different players and stuff like that. If you don't mind, Coach, maybe just talking about your recruiting class a little bit and maybe just maybe a few players maybe that we could see me making some impacts this season for the Huskers.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for starters, I think across the board, this was a very strong recruiting class for us. Not just in the top end big name guys, but also in our depth. And I think adding depth and competitive depth was certainly a key approach for us in the offseason. But I mean, a kid like Jack Winey, he's two-time All-American. He's come in as advertised. He's a very polished football player. He's aggressive. He's strong. He's going to make an impact this year. There's no doubt about it. Poe at the D tackle spot is another guy that we added. A lot of experience, very polished. Expecting big things out of him. Locally, a high school kid, Cole Shanks, has made an immediate impact out of Mowat. Like, that kid he's a baller. I mean, he's walked in, he's competed since day one. He's, putting himself in really good position to be a starter on day one of his rookie year. Which is impressive to do on a good football team. Offensively, I mean, we've had a really good recruiting class. You know, we had some gaps to fill, lost some guys. Tyron, obviously, being a big one. You know, when we brought in guys like Rogan and Keyshawn now to compete with guys that we already had in the room that we're very, you know, we're very excited about as well. Noah and Jacob and you know, and that's kind of been the approach to the off season is there's no spot that's safe. Like you're here to compete, man. We got dogs coming in. We're excited, and certainly Trey White. You know, there's another university transfer out of Manitoba that we're certainly excited about, and the guys that we got coming back. So competition has been the theme of camp so far, and it's been really exciting to see the guys stepping up to that level. I mean, yeah, David Carter, another kid out of Atlanta that we're excited about that's had an outstanding camp so far as advertised. Yeah, so there's certainly guys that fit our model and our character and what we look for and check the boxes in the off season. And yeah, we're happy to see them out here performing.
Yeah, coach, as we transition a little bit into the offensive side of the ball and kind of wanted to maybe start there, and as you mentioned them with a few of the names at quarterback there, you brought in obviously Keyshawn Dorsey at quarterback, guy with ties to the lower mainland area there, obviously went to, the youth sports realm, is going to come back and try to make an impact. And if you don't mind, coach, maybe just talking about his skill set a little bit, and as well maybe just talking a little bit about if there is kind of maybe the competition you were alluding to a little bit.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, Keyshawn is a guy who comes in. He's an older guy. He's experienced. You know, he's been at the U Sport level. He's looking to get back to the U Sport level and have a transition year. So he's very athletic, man. He has a cannon for an arm. He's very athletic. He's a smart football player. There's no doubt about it. And his skill set is something that we look for in the quarterback position. But yes, to go to what your question was about, is there a QB battle? Of course, like Rogan is a young kid that has a great skill set as well. He's a competitor, you know, and certainly hasn't shied away from bringing in a guy that has U Sport experience, and that's what you want to see out of a young quarterback. Noah's the same thing. I mean, these guys are they're performing at the highest level I think we've seen them perform, and that's due to competition, right? Like that's a direct correlation in my eyes. So it's been great. You know, we're excited to see who ends up winning that, and whoever does, we're very confident is going to be able to lead our team on the field.
Yeah, you guys are very talented offensively, coach at the skill positions as well. I believe bringing back Jawad Harb and Peyton Lake, talented guys across the league. I believe Luke Rodriguez should be another one returning for you guys. If you don't mind, maybe just talking a little bit more about those guys, but as well as maybe some other guys that maybe could be making an impact offensively, as well as coach. Can't forget the Hoggies up front. Maybe you want to throw in a shout out for the big boys up front as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll start with those guys. That position has improved immensely, you know, and depth. Certainly, we've added more bodies to compete, but you know, bringing in guys like Keenan, who's a very athletic offensive lineman, you know, and a guy like Joel coming in from overseas. You know, to add to Victor and those guys, it's been very competitive, you know, and again, depth is something that we really sought after at that position, but across the board as well. You know, the season's a grind. It's 10 games, man. You know, you got to be healthy come the end of it, and you know, having enough guys to compete and to push each other was certainly a big thing in the offensive line. You know, if you've had a chance to watch any of our practices, they've been getting after it, and it's good to see. So we're excited about that. But yeah, no, I mean, we've added some weapons. Jawad Harb obviously coming back, but Grady, who's a kid out of GW here, he was a rookie with us last year. He has obviously had a tremendous offseason. You know, he's the guy that's going to be, you know, demanding touches. You know, he's too good to keep off the field, and him and Jawad are going to present a lot of different matchup options, and you know, we're excited to see what we can do with that. But you know, I touched on Trey White. Like, here's a kid, you know, that fits exactly what you're looking for. He's tall, he's fast, he runs great routes, good hands, great kid in the locker room. You know, so we're excited to see what that brings as well. So a lot of pieces. You know, I think we can attack defenses on a lot of different levels, and that's the game plan, and we look forward to seeing how that all plays out.
When going to the other side of the ball, Coach, I know obviously with Andy and Raiden, a couple of the bigger names as well over there. If you don't mind just kind of talking a little bit about them and maybe some other players on defense that we could be looking for.
Yeah, I mean Andy. Let's start there. I mean, there's a guy who's absolutely dominated at points in his career. I think he is a guy who probably and rightfully so plays with a bit of a chip on his shoulder. I think he often gets overlooked, in awards and things like that. And he's finishing up his career, man. I'd be shocked if he's not setting himself up for another outstanding year. He's a leader. He's an athletic guy. He's going to make a lot of plays. Raiden Maston, like you said, he's one of the best at his position in the country. We're very excited. He's really matured in his leadership role as well, which, entering his year of eligibility, that's what you want to see. That's, you want to see these guys taking over for guys that have moved on. And Raiden has certainly been up for that challenge, man. He's a playmaker. He's going to make a lot of plays. Like I said, Jack Winey, man, if you haven't had a chance to look at his film, he's, couple weeks, he's coming, I can't wait. The kid's a beast and he's going to turn heads in this league. There's no doubt about it. But I mean, you could go like our secondary, we're young, but we're super talented. We feel we got 8 or 9 guys in that secondary group that can legit play. And so we're excited. We feel good about where we're at. I'm sure everybody does at this point, and that's the beautiful thing about off seasons and recruiting. And in a couple of weeks, we get to line up and put each other to the test. So we're excited to see.
Coach, when transitioning into this season, you guys got a little bit of a unique start with obviously getting into camp and stuff like that. But I believe you have the week one bye with obviously the 7 teams and then the 3 straight road games. I know a lot of people might want to focus on the negative side, but I feel like you guys also have the opportunity to kind of, as well use the road as kind of like that, us versus everybody, us versus the world mentality. You guys can really grow closer. And then when talking about growing closer, you guys can kind of bond, with all those road trips and stuff like that. How much are you guys kind of looking forward to, being able to utilize that as a positive opportunity for your guys' program?
We can't wait. Absolutely. Like the road is not a negative for us. I kind of like starting on the road to start a season, especially in a year where we've brought in a lot of guys. There's been a lot of turnover. We want guys to be comfortable and to get to know each other fast, and road trips are great for that, right? So yeah, I mean, we're there's certain situations our field is being redone. We don't have the luxury of starting at home, and to be honest, we're excited. We've talked about it. 3 straight road games. Let's go. Like if we want to know who we are, and we've talked about finding our identity early in camp, and knowing who you are is important in the battle. We're gonna find out who we are, in the first 3 weeks, and that's the challenge, and certainly one that we've discussed, and one that I know our guys are looking forward to stepping up to.
Coach, we started this conversation by talking about, the tremendous amount of stability you brought to the program and relevancy now. And when obviously looking back at last year, you can only take so much. And obviously you guys are moving on to this year, but you guys have been right there the last few years in terms of, I feel like, making that run. And obviously for you guys, I feel like getting in the playoffs is one thing because getting a chance of, being able to, whatever happens, is the biggest thing. But what can you guys maybe do better this upcoming season to maybe punch your ticket so you guys can have a home playoff game this upcoming year? I know it's been a big goal for you guys, kind of maybe since you took over the last few years of getting there, and you guys, as I mentioned, have been right there and on the cusp of being able to make some of these playoff runs to the Cullen Cup. But in terms of being able to host at home and being able to utilize your guys' fans and your facility as well, what are some areas that maybe you're looking at this offseason, stuff like that, when you're watching film and breaking down your team that you were looking at? Maybe we can do this better and we can get better at this area to improve this version of your team.
I mean, first and foremost, the makeup of our team, like I kind of touched on earlier in our off-season approach and in meetings, adding depth and making sure that our depth was competitive depth, and being able to withstand, plug and play type injuries, and making sure that we're not taking a step back. And I think last year it became evident at points when we lost guys that we weren't full enough in the cupboard, if that makes sense. So that was a priority. I think we've done a really good job of that. And then also just making sure that we were prepared, mentally prepared. That's something that I think we kind of lost track of at points last year, and understanding and preaching to guys. Winning is a process. It's something that is learned. It's something that you have to do all the little things over and over again to accumulate wins. And I think sometimes last year, I think there was hype going in, and I think the guys felt good about who they were, and when things didn't go our way, it's a reflection time, and I think for us, establishing that mental discipline early on, understanding the business side of a season. It's not always just lining up and going out there. It's the approach. It's who you are. Do you carry yourself in a winning mindset? And so that certainly has been something that we've been touching upon early in camp, often in camp, and will continue to as the season develops.
Coach, I appreciate your time so much. So one last one for you. I believe the saying is, it takes a village to raise a man or something like that. I probably 10x that to raise a football team or to support a football team, especially a junior football one. Coach, I've been asking all the head coaches just to end our interviews, just almost kind of like a shout out or a teaser for anybody that's listening and the fans and in your guys' community there over in Valley. But any kind of, I guess, information for folks out there that are wanting to, come out and check out you guys for, tickets, season tickets, as well as I mentioned, a community that needs to support you guys and that comes with, volunteers, game day volunteers, sponsorships, as well as I know a big thing as well is when everyone's coming in, billets and stuff like that. Where can maybe people that are listening today or watching today be able to find that information to help you guys out?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, valleyhuskers.ca is our website. That's the quickest and easiest one to get to. You can follow us on social media at Valley Huskers on Instagram and every Facebook, everything like that. And then also just keep an eye out for us in the community. We're doing a lot of things off the field as well in volunteering stuff. If you are a community member that wants to get involved and have us come out and be involved in what you got going on, reach out social media or hit us up on our emails website. And then also the season. Yeah, we're coming up soon. We kick off 3 on the road, but then we're back at home. Our community, our crowds are always awesome. We can't wait to fill these stands. There's a lot going on for the kids, the families. It's a great experience. Things kick off real fast. Come check us out. Check out the schedule on our Instagram. We can't wait for another year.
Awesome, coach. Like I said, so gracious of your time. I know it's a busy time when you're trying to juggle football and squeeze in a little bit of family time here on the side and also trying to have a little bit of free time, coach. So very gracious of your time today, coach, and wishing you guys the best of luck on the field this season.
Awesome. Much appreciated, and love what you guys do. So thank you very much.
Awesome, coach. We'll chat soon.
All right. Take care.
That was head coach of the Valley Huskers, Bob Reese. And like I mentioned, very thankful for coach's time here today coming on the channel and chatting a little bit about his squad going into 2025. It's going to be an interesting one. As I mentioned and talked about the parity that I think is, um, you know, has that reputation of the BCFC of the strongest conference in out of the 3 of them on a week-to-week basis, man. I think anyone can get got, and it just makes it, I think, an exciting. It makes it even more exciting from a fan's perspective, from a viewer's perspective, the entertainment, the storylines, all that stuff. Especially come playoff time, right? Where you got maybe 3 or 4 teams fighting for about 2, maybe 3 spots, depending on how things shake up, right? With it kind of looks like now Okanagan maybe being at the top, and who knows what's going to shake out from there with even last year, right? I believe it was Valley and West Shore, I think, finished 5-5. So a ton of parity. Valley and West Shore finishing 5-5. You look at the Raiders who finished 4-7. Prince George finishing at 3, and maybe it was VI that finished 4-6, but VI had 4 wins. PG had 3 wins. You could argue that VI could have had 1 more. PG could have had a couple more. Like as I said, the parity around the conference is only a benefit for the conference and should only intrigue Canadian football fans around the province of BC. And I guess we can include the CJFL as well to get out, support these high quality young athletes, and it's a ton of fun. It's as I mentioned, the entertainment purposes as well. A lot of entertainment. Getting out and watching these guys on Saturday. I cannot wait to do so. Hoping to get out to a few road dates as well, as I obviously here in Nanaimo and ties to the Raiders. I will be at all the home games this upcoming season, but with the short drive down to Victoria, definitely we'll be catching a couple West Shore games, and maybe we'll see about maybe a Lanlier Valley game this upcoming season. As I mentioned, with our transition out of here, with our partnership with the BCFC, if you guys have been enjoying all of our season previews already and are looking forward to more content, as I mentioned, not only like this video, comment down below on this video. Let us know how you guys enjoyed it, how you guys are excited for the season, and how you guys are excited for our partnership, as well as go on the BCFC's Instagram account, start blowing them up, start tagging them, and letting them know how excited you guys are for our collaboration partnership. And what you guys want to see this upcoming season as well of the weekly show, kind of a style, guests, etc. Let me know. You guys can comment down below. You guys can even find us on our social media, as you guys can see down there below, at the Canadian Football Fanatics. Excuse me, at Canadian Football Fanatics. No, the at Canadian Football Fanatics on Instagram, at _ CF Fanatics on Twitter or X. And that is preview number 4 down, folks. 3 more to go as we close out our season preview number 4. We'll be back, as I said, it's going to be a quick turnaround the next 3 or 4 previews, as we're going to try to get them out here before, what's Monday? I believe the 13th will be Monday, if I'm not mistaken. Let me quickly check. 14th is Monday. So that's the goal. I guess the goal would be actually the 13th, the Sunday, because the 14th is going to be, as I said, our power rankings is going to be coming out. Power rankings that is voted on by each of the head coaches across the 7 different teams and compiled into one power rankings preseason going into the season. Excited to give you guys that as well as potentially our first weekly show being dropped that day as well. So stay tuned, as I mentioned, folks. Subscribe, follow on our social media platforms. That's the best way to stay up to date, as well as following the BCFC on their platforms. Once again, huge thank you to Coach Reese and the many other coaches for joining us. Hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.